takes it in overtime. Brady can shot, breakaway shoots, scores!
Welcome to SENS Talk. My name is Brandon and I am your host. Tonight, Ottawa took on the Buffalo Sabres in game number 82 of the season. It's the season finale, and it's in the same spot where Ottawa started the season. It's unbelievable that the season has gone by. A full season of Ottawa Center hockey is now complete. It really flew by quickly. And in the game notes, we'll talk about the future of SENS Talk and the fact we'll be coming back for an 11th year, but the off-season content and all that. But it really is insane to me that the last 6-7 months just flew by. Probably because it was one of the most fun Sens seasons we've had since 2017. But regardless, it's always bittersweet to see the end of a season come. But I will say this year, it's less bittersweet because the future is bright. The core is so rich with a lot of young talent and new ownerships coming in, which presents a great opportunity for this franchise that we haven't seen in over a few decades. So the future is bright. It softens the blow a little bit. And I'll still be making videos for you guys during the offseason as well. So it's not like I'm going anywhere. But it is a little bittersweet when the season ends. But there's a lot of positives to take away from the season. So I think that's why the blow is really softened this season. Let's get to the pregame notes. Firstly, Max Gannett gets the recall. Former 7th round pick has been dominating in Belleville, one of the best defenders down there, especially point-wise, getting a well-deserved NHL call-up. That's now 6 players from the 2019 NHL draft to play in the National Hockey League for your Ottawa Senators. So a little bit of a shout-out there to Gannett, of course. And, of course, the Sens amateur scouting staff as well. I mean, they consistently find these guys late in the draft. Gannett's been one of those sneaky players as of late. Really sneaky prospect. Our defense is really clogged, but Gannett definitely still has a good chance eventually one day to make the NHL, so it's great to see him get an opportunity. Besides that, essentially the rest of the lineup remains the same as Matt Sogard gets the start. Now, for Buffalo, guess who gets the start? Craig Anderson. Andy, Mr. Beast Mode, one of my favorite players growing up. And look, it's very possible that this might have been Craig Anderson's last start. In fact, based off how the players reacted after the game ended, it looks like this was Craig Anderson's last start in the National Hockey League, and it's such a poetic ending to a great career. One of the most underrated careers in the last couple decades, in my opinion, for goaltenders. He was one of the best and most dominant goaltenders in the early 2010s. Really carried Ottawa, especially on his back in like 2012, 2013, when he had like a .930 save percentage both seasons. So Craig Anderson's an absolute legend, best goaltender in franchise history. One of my favorite players growing up, like I just mentioned. And once again, it's really poetic to have him potentially start his last NHL game against the team he found the most success with the Ottawa Senators, of course. So I will say, obviously I always hope the Ottawa Senators win, but tonight a little bit of me was hoping Craig Anderson would get the win. And as well, it's always fun watching Craig Anderson play. He's so unorthodox in his setup in the crease. I mean, all the leg kicks, all the flashy glove stops, the shoulder blocks. Love Craig Anderson, absolute legend, and it was awesome to watch him play potentially his last NHL game tonight. Now, things to watch. Firstly, for this game, Claude Giroux, he's approaching career high in goals with 35. If he scores tonight, he'll surpass his, tied at career high at 34 and go to 35 for a new career high. Tim Stützle, he's eyeing 90 points tonight and 40 goals. So those are two things to watch tonight on top of Craig Anderson starting for Buffalo, and of course Matt Sogard starts for your Ottawa Senators. And after 20 minutes of play, it's 0-0. Shots are 12-11 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres, but Matt Sogard and Craig Anderson both look very good. Craig Anderson especially making some huge stops, and Matt Sogard as well. Got to give him credit. Made some huge stops today, especially on a couple of cross-crease passes early on. That glove hand today was working overtime for Matt Sogard, but we saw a couple of classic starfish scramble stops there from Anderson in the crease, diving on the ice, spread out like a starfish. Real classic Craig Anderson stuff, so that was fun to watch. But we go to the second period of play, and this is where things absolutely open up for both teams. Just a minute in, Casey Mittelstadt threads the needle through a few defenders, finds Yuki Harju, and he buries it glove side past Matt Sogard. This is one probably Sogard wants back as it deflects off the glove and in. Regardless, Buffalo strikes first. It's 1-0 Sabres. 2 minutes later, after Max Gannett in his NHL debut hits the post, he hits the post. Seconds later, on the odd man rush going the other way, the Sabres come back the other way and they score. Sogard again gets most of it, but not all of it, and the Sabres put home the rebound to strike again. It's 2-0 Buffalo. But 2 minutes later, after the Buffalo Sabres strike back-to-back in the first 5 minutes of the second period of play, 5 minutes into the second period, a couple minutes after that 2-0 goal, Ottawa gets right back into it. Jake Sanderson puts it on a tee for Timmy Stützle, Timmy's superstar, and he rips it. bar down, glove side. 39 goals on the year for Timmy Superstar. And Ottawa is back in it. It's a 2-1 game. What a shot by Tim Stützle. I will be watching that goal the entire summer. Bing, bang, boom. What a shot. Bar down. 1-goal game. And then a minute and a half later, Igor Sokolov, he's fighting for an opportunity here. Look, he hasn't got many games in the National Hockey League. He's a former second-round pick. He's still one of our better prospects. He's been dominant in the AHL, all-star in the AHL, MVP for the Buffalo Sabres, and he has a nice play here. He steals the puck off the Buffalo Sabres player. He feeds Dylan Gambrell with a nice pass. Great awareness from Soko. And guess what? Dylan Gambrell beats Craig Anderson. 2-2, we are tied. And what a crazy opening 7 minutes of the second period of play. Buffalo, 4 minutes in, 2-0. 3-4 minutes later, 2-2, as Gambrell gets a goal here along the blue line, essentially, and he rips one past Craig Anderson. That's probably one Andy wants back. Regardless, 2-2 game. And after that, Ottawa really pushed on the Buffalo Sabres. Craig Anderson, big time, was forced to make some big stops. And then with about 7 minutes left in the second period of play, an insane saucer pass from guess who? Timmy Superstar. Tim Stützle from end to end. He's in the Ottawa defensive zone. A backhand from zone to zone, 200 feet. Finds Claude Giroux waiting along the blue line. Giroux's tripped. He's on his knees. Feeds it back to Tkachuk. Tkachuk finds Giroux driving to the net. And Claude Giroux scores! Goal number 35 on the season for G-Money. Ka-ching! And Ottawa strikes, and they lead for the first time in the game. It's 3-2 Ottawa as Claude Giroux gets a career-high 35th goal of the season. What a year for Claude Giroux. That is 79 points on the season as well for G-Money. And Ottawa leads 3-2 going to the third period of play. And by the way, Tim Stützle, he's a 90-point player, ladies and gentlemen, with the assist, the secondary assist on this Claude Giroux goal. He now has 90 points on the season. And that 8-year contract that Ottawa signed him to just several months ago has not even kicked in. The NHL is not ready for Tim Stützle and how dominant he's going to be for years to come. This guy's going to be a top 10 player in the league, top 5, top 10 center, no doubt, 100-point player potentially, 40-goal guy. This guy is going to be one of the best players to ever don the Ottawa Senator jersey, no doubt. So Ottawa goes to the third period of play, up by a goal for the first time. It's 3-2. Let's see if Ottawa can keep it up, though, and win this game and secure a final W of the season. We go to the third period of play, and just like the second period, early on in the third period, the Buffalo Sabres strike, and they tie it here. As Tage Thompson on the power play buries a one-time pass past Sogard, and the Buffalo Sabres tie it. It's 3-3. By the way, that power play should never have happened. Thompson, ironically enough, got tripped moments prior to that power play and power play goal. Clearly a dive, I'm not going to lie, but it happens. That's hockey. Sometimes the call goes the other team's way. Just wanted to mention that, though, because I kind of found it ironic that Thompson was the one to score. It's funny how that works, but regardless, Ottawa defensively just can't do that. We've seen that so often this year, but they're a young team. It happens. 3-3. And Ottawa and Buffalo, they play a strong game tonight, both teams. Buffalo the other day, like a day or two ago, were eliminated. They were in it till the end. So kudos to, the Buffalo Sabres. I'm a big fan of Devin Levi. He's Jewish and I'm Jewish, so I think that's awesome. But more importantly, he's friends with some of my buddies in Montreal. So I heard about this kid when I was 14 or 15, and to see where he's gone is incredible. He's no friend of mine, of course. I don't know he doesn't know who I am, but just to see a story like that and see Buffalo, really push late to the season was awesome. But they have nothing to play for, and to see them and Ottawa really play hard tonight, a lot of emotion, a lot of checking, a lot of hits, high energy type of game. Both teams, they cared about this game. They wanted to win, and it makes sense. I mean, when you look at the, let's take a look out of the box for a second. It makes sense. For Buffalo, Craig Anderson's a net. They want to get him that final win. For Ottawa, look, they want to finish off the season strong because Buffalo, look, they play another game tomorrow. So it's not like this is their last game. I truly think Buffalo is playing hard to get Craig Anderson that win, and I think that's awesome, right? So while both teams played hard through 60 minutes of play, it was not enough. We're going to overtime, and I'll tell you something. I never complain about a little bit of extra hockey, especially when the season is officially done and there's nothing else left in the tank for Ottawa in their season. So hell yeah! Give me overtime. But unfortunately for Ottawa in this overtime, it wouldn't last long as the Buffalo Sabres controlled the possession for the entire overtime sequence as Casey Middlestat wins it in overtime, bar in. And look, normally I would be like, that sucks to end the season on such a, crappy type of note, right? But Not in this circumstance, not even close, because this means Craig Anderson potentially just won his last NHL game, and it's so poetic to do so against his, the team he played the longest for, the team that he found the most success with, the team where he truly became an NHLer with as well, the Ottawa Senators. And, for somebody like me who was, and still is, a lifetime Craig Anderson fan. Growing up, Craig Anderson was one of my favorite players. Him, Alfie, Carlson. These were the players I loved growing up. And, Craig Anderson, to see him potentially in his final game, get that win, it just feels special to me. It's awesome. And more importantly, what was even more awesome than that, just getting to watch him play his final game, get that win, nice moment, was after the game, all the Buffalo Sabre players, they didn't go to Middlestat. They went right to Craig Anderson to congratulate him, gave him a huge hug. And then after that, the Ottawa Senator players lined up to congratulate Craig Anderson on an incredible career. You can see it on your screen here, and it's just an awesome ending potentially for a great, great career for Craig Anderson. That's the type of guy who should absolutely be Ring of Honor. Maybe retire his number. Definitely would love to bring him back somehow in the Sens organization. But if this is it for Craig Anderson, on a hell of a career, Craig Anderson, congratulations. Just a awesome way to end the season, and you don't often say that when your season ends on an overtime loss. But to see Anderson and the way the Buffalo fans and the organization there as well, both organizations pay tribute to him post-game, was just awesome, and frankly was the perfect ending to the season. So congratulations, Craig Anderson. If this is your last win, your last appearance in the National Hockey League, I cannot be happier that it was against the Ottawa Senators and we got to watch it with you. Now, besides that, a few other game notes. Firstly, Tim Stützle is the first Senator player since 2008 when Jason Spezza did so to score 90 points. Congratulations, Timmy Stu. Just an absolute breakout season from Tim Stützle. And it's cliche to say this, but the best is yet to come with a player like this. He's only going to get better, and he's locked up for 8 more years with your Ottawa Senators. So, ooh, baby, I cannot wait to watch Timmy Stu cook up the National Hockey League over the next 8 years. As well, Ottawa's 3 35-goal scorers. There's only 2 other teams in the NHL this year that can say the same thing. That would be Toronto and Edmonton. So, Ottawa and their top 6 this season was absolutely dynamite. It really is a shame that we're not going to be in the playoffs, but with some consistent goal scoring next year in the bottom 6, a healthy Josh Norris, potentially new coaching, and the goaltending situation being cleared up, I think this is a playoff team next year without a doubt. But we'll save the playoff chatter and the next year chatter for the preview videos in August and September. We'll leave it for that because I want to wrap it up here. We'll worry about the offseason. We'll worry about next season later. Right now, I just want to say thank you to all of you for all your support throughout our 10th year of Sens Talk. It's unbelievable that the 10th year in a row I've been making these videos has come to an end. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. I love making these videos. It's always bittersweet to me because I obviously love the team. I love watching the games, but I love making these videos more. I love making these videos. And when the season comes to an end, it really does suck that I'm going to have to wait probably 5-6 months until my next game recap. So that always is bittersweet. But, regardless of that, your support throughout the last year and 10 years has meant the world to me, has made all of this a reality. And I really do appreciate your support of our Sens coverage throughout the year. So thank you so much for following along. Thank you to Brian Charbon, Giordano Ladisa, and Noah Luden for your support behind the scenes as well. I got the best team. It would not be possible without you guys. And by the way, we will be back, no doubt, for an 11th season of Sens Talk. Do not worry. We'll be back next year with game recaps, live streams, content, everything. We'll be back next year without a doubt. But it is a bittersweet moment when the regular season for the Ottawa Senators comes to an end. But the off-season's coming, and off-season content is on the way as well. Early next week, we'll be starting our off-season content, so stay tuned for that. I got exams and some final assignments in the next few days, so I really got to focus on that. But after we're through that, just get ready. A lot of content on the way for you guys. But once again, thank you all for your support, for following, for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for commenting throughout the last year and throughout the last 10 years. If you would have told me 10 years ago I'd still be making these videos, I would have laughed in your face, but I could not have had it any other way. I'm so happy to be making these videos, and I can't wait to be making these videos again in the off season and of course for next season. So besides that, thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. And for the last time this season, go Sens go.